This video is sponsored by Noragon, the commercial vehicle data experts. Visit Noragon.com to learn more.
Welcome back to On the Road. I'm Kevin Linger. You know, they say finding a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, but what about finding a single needle in a haystack? Pretty difficult.
Wait a second. Why is he introing my interview? I did this video. I should be doing this part.
Technology. I know who to talk to.
I didn't know there were that many stairs over there. That's why having the right data is so important, especially when it comes to the transportation industry. Trailers haul all kinds of goods, from durable items like metal, plastic, or products to temperature-sensitive refrigerated goods like food and medicine. Fleets need to know when something goes wrong right away. Today on the Road, I, not Kevin, don't know why you think that, I'm talking to Cory O'Brien, Vice President of Digital Enablement at Wabash, to learn what trailer telematics can tell you when time is of the essence, and how far trailer telematics have come over the years.
All right, so today on the Road, we are here with Cory O'Brien from Wabash. He's their Vice President of Digital Enablement. Cory, how are you?
Hi, Alex. Thank you. I'm very good.
Great, glad to hear it. We're going to talk trailer telematics today with Cory.
One of my favorite topics.
All right, well, you're the right person for the job then. So I think that fleets are kind of used to tractor telematics being a little more advanced than trailer telematics, a little stronger in what they can do. But it seems like that's changing in recent years. So how has that started to change?
Yeah, sure. I mean, trucks are, I guess, inherently a little more sophisticated, more complicated. So maybe that value prop pulled through a little easier, quicker. But telematics have been on trailers for a long time, multiple decades, really. I think the ELD mandate really drove that every truck connected thing, and that's starting to pull over into the trailer space. Combine that with kind of this drop and hook phenomena that's increased obviously a lot in the last 5 years or so, 10 years. Now everybody wants to also know where the trailer's at. I mean, the trailer also has the cargo in it. So as the shippers started to see, real visibility of the truck, I think they realized, well, geez, I'd also like to see visibility where that trailer's at. If you're dropping it somewhere, I want to be able to know where it's at. Of course, cargo theft and other things like that really started to drive the need for more visibility as well. And then I think lastly, the software applications, the open API integrations have just made it kind of easier to use the systems and use the software on a very fragmented, mixed kind of fleet. So that really proliferated this idea of, well, I want to know the health of the asset from tip to tail. I want to know how the truck's performing, how the trailer's performing. If something happens on the road, I want to know if it's the truck I got to find a replacement for and get something, repaired on that so I don't miss my delivery, or if it's on the trailer, how do I deal with the trailer aspect? So I think a lot of different things have happened, but for sure, many of the trailers we build now are connected right out of the factory.
Yeah, definitely. And that, as fleets have kind of gotten used to having that visibility, once you're used to it on certain aspects of your business, you want it everywhere.
Yeah, I think absolutely that's true. It's just that health. You start to get proactive about how you're managing your fleet, and then you realize you can manage kind of all of it. You want all your different mixed model OEM tractors and trailers. You want them all to have it. There's this goal to get to that single pane of glass where you can, through the same application, see everything no matter where it's made. And I think that's where the integrations and API have helped make it a little simpler for the fleet operators and the managers to take care of driving the uptime and keeping the trucks and trailers on the road. It's just made it easier for them to see the value in the system more of late.
Yeah, and you mentioned the integrations. I want to kind of zero in on that a little bit, because it's my understanding that that's been a little bit of where some of the challenges have come from in terms of getting trailer telematics widely available. You have to integrate all these different parts that go on the trailer. So what can you tell me about that and how that's kind of progressed?
Yeah, For sure, the transportation industry is an extremely fragmented space. It's no different in the software side of transportation. But there's been a lot of work and a lot of technology developed in this space. And the open APIs and the open platforms have really helped you to be able to use multiple applications to run your business. So definitely that effort to try and integrate, knowing that one system can't win. It's got to be an ecosystem of partnerships, because there's mixed fleets. Nobody's going to have one brand of both tractor and trailer alone, and so you have to have that ability to interplay between the different systems. And I think people are more open to creating these open platforms now, and that's definitely helping the uptake of these systems and allowing more of the assets to be connected.
Yeah, and that's definitely very important. Like you said, it doesn't really work unless you have that kind of open platform.
Right. It's no different than like diagnostics and other applications in automotive or other places like that. If you can't read the diagnostics, then what good is it of having these remote diagnostics or these sophisticated systems that monitor the performance of the computers and things on the vehicles themselves? So we need that ability to be able to read all that so that we can keep the fleet on the road, drive uptime, reduce total cost of ownership, things like that. So you got to be able to communicate with the system.
So you mentioned earlier, if you get a trailer now, there's a very good chance it's connected right out of the gate, day one. I wonder if you could kind of walk me through, if I'm a fleet that's getting a new trailer, what do I have access to right when I get it?
Yeah, great question. I think there's really two systems that have been around for a long time in this space, right? You do either an aftermarket upfit of the trailer after you've purchased it, or it comes more of a smart trailer that's probably got to be more integrated by the OEM. The wiring harness is designed very specifically to connect the systems, things like that. So we can engineer the system where the sensors are more robust, the wiring's more robust right out of the factory. So we're seeing more and more of the full smart trailer system being installed out of the factory, but there still is an aftermarket component to upfit either older units or even new units out of the factory. There's both track and trace or trailer telematics, and then there's smart trailers. They're really two different systems. Track and trace, pretty easy to install. It's usually just GPS, maybe a few other sensors, or a few other, a cargo sensor, or a few other elements that you can get from those systems. But the smart trailer comes with a lot more sensors. We include weight sensing and door sensing to notify you if a door's been opened when the driver might be off their lane, for example. That'd be an alert you'd want to know about fast. So a bunch, temperature on reefers and the tire pressure inflation systems, things like that. So you can get a lot more sensors on the smart trailer systems. And a lot of those are the ones that we install out of the factory. So you can I think in the past, you weren't really able to interact much with the OEMs on this. You kind of spec maybe what you had in the rest of your fleet. That's changing. We're more experts in the system now than we were in the past. And so we're able to guide you as to the systems that are maybe better integrated and designed with the rest of our trailer. Like I said, the wiring harness and stuff like that. We're offering more of these systems well engineered right out of the factory now than what we did in the past. We would kind of install what you asked us to install. I think we see a little bit of a transition now where we were probably ahead of our time in the past putting these sophisticated systems, and there wasn't the value prop or the drive on the fleet side. Now they really see the value, and so now we're really focusing more on collaborating with them on making sure the trailer comes out of the factory with what they want on it.
Yeah, and that's always good because, right, fleets love to have options. It sounds like, you can kind of choose based on how much visibility you want, whether you just want to know like where is it, or if you want all those different details about it.
Yeah, exactly. The systems are now, the costs are coming down and the sophistication is really fantastic and rivaling the truck side and the automotive side now. Our smart trailer systems go to sleep on their own when the trailer's detached. They still wake up remotely, even though they're detached, do a health check of the system, send us a report on the asset's health, and then they go back to sleep. They've got solar panels, so they always are able to alert us even when they're disconnected from the tractor. Quite a powerful system to help us optimize the utilization of all the assets. So I mean, what the worst case would be is if you have a drop and hook situation and you've left a trailer, you load that trailer only for the driver to show up to find an issue with it. Well, now it's just completely inefficient. You either got to immediately get it repaired and the driver's waiting, or you've got to reassign them to a different trailer or something. Just terribly inefficient. So we want to know that health of that system at all times so that we never dispatch somebody to a trailer only to find the tires unhealthy or something like that. So the proactive nature of that is going to help us really drive the utilization of the entire system up. It's going to improve safety in addition to efficiency. So just a lot of exciting things as we continue to develop new technology in the space.
Yeah, it sounds like really cool technology. And, you know, you're talking about being proactive. That's one of the main ways for fleets to really get the most value they can, is being proactive, not reacting to situations after they happen.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, that also is probably one of the difficulties that existed early on, is that change management that you have to go through, where the actual operators running the fleet have to be watching the system, configuring the system to alert them in a proper way. If you've got tens of thousands of trailers in your fleet, you're not logging into a system and looking at the health of each and every single one of your trailers. They have to drive these insights to the top. You have to give them the needle, not stream the entire haystack of data, right? I mean, you need to give them the piece of information that's important so that they know how to go proactively go, okay, now I have to fix that unit before I assign it to somebody else. So I think the system's getting so well, the notifications and alerting, the integration with their fleet management system and where they spend most of their time, I think that really helps drive the value all the way across all the different people interacting, from dispatch to service event centers that support the repairs, to the drivers themselves, who now have phones that you can send all these data to, that didn't even exist probably 5 years ago. There wasn't as many smartphones as there are now. You couldn't bring your own device to work in that space as much. Just so much is changing that's enabling this.
Yeah, definitely. I like that analogy you use, giving them the needle, not the haystack, because, you know, there's a lot of raw data, and if you just it can just be overwhelming. You don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah, you can't just stream all the data and think you're going to have success. I mean, you've got to show the insights. You've got to show the business value of what exactly do I need to do. And when you keep it that simple and you really work hard to make the system do the hard work for you, it's going to drive a lot of the power.
Well, thanks so much, Cory, for taking the time to be on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Have a great day.